specifically, how am I going to gather information? Once we've connected on that baseline, I need to ask open-ended questions. This is a skill that takes lots of practice, because when you're having conversation with a new prospect, you're nervous, and it's way easier to ask closed-ended questions, right? Is this the only neighborhood you're looking in? Yes. Shit. Right? So as a rule of thumb, open-ended questions should start with how, help me understand, tell me about, and what does. What does having a big backyard do for you? It's for your dog. Awesome. Right? Like, help me understand why a good school district is important to you and your family.
I just want to feel safe with my kids walking to and from.
Right? So tell me about your home search so far. Just started it. Interesting. When it's kind of subjective, how long have you been looking for homes?
Just a couple weeks, just started looking on Zillow.
Oh, awesome. What made you decide Zillow was the place to start looking?
Just kind of naturally always been the place I think to go to browse homes when I'm bored or dreaming.
Who talked more? Right? That's the whole point. I want them to open up, and it's going to take layers of these questions to get there. So there's an amazing book that I would recommend everybody reading. And it is Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. And he has this saying in his book, and I absolutely love it. Interesting people are interested. The more I'm interested in you, the more interesting I become to you. Let that sink in for a second, because it's really, really a good principle. Something I always tell people is make it about the person, not the property. I give a shit about the house you buy. I don't care. I don't. I didn't build it. I didn't pick it. I didn't place it. Like, I don't care about the house. But you as a person, I give a shit about you. So I want to be very interested in you, because that's going to make me interesting to you. So my questions are going to be centered around, right? Like, how long have you been looking? Why is this important to you now? What's changed in your life that you want to go from renting to buying? What kind of an impact is that going to have on you and your family? Right? Because initially, all you're going to want to ask is how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what's square footage, what zip codes. That's all about the property. That makes you replaceable. And that makes your interest in the property. You're not interesting anymore. But if I show I'm interested in you, now I become interesting to you. And you're not going to want to go find other people to be interested in. You're probably going to want to maintain that relationship. Yes. When you are having that conversation with people, feed back to them the last couple words that they say to you. For your dog? More than likely, they're not going to just say, yeah. He didn't just say, yeah. He was like, well, yeah, it's pretty important to him. Important to him? Yeah. They will elaborate. Right? Here's the thing that I didn't want to put in the slide deck, but I have to. Guys, you're not having this conversation with this person to click boxes. You're not having this conversation just to do this step in the buyer consultation. Actually listen to what they have to say. right? And this is something you absolutely should implement during role play. I can't tell you how many role plays that I've been in where the person shares something in their role play, and then 3 minutes later, they get a question about what they shared, right? Like they shared, yeah, we've got 4 kids and we have 3 bedrooms. So I have 2 kids in each bedroom, blah, 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 blah. And then 3 minutes later, they're like, oh, well, how many kids do you have? Yeah, tell me more about how you didn't listen to anything I just told you, right? That tells me that you are waiting for your turn to talk instead of genuinely listening to what they have to say. Because you're just going to talk. You want to be interested in them, right? Like when you go and you pick up on another person, forget business, right? Like if you meet somebody, you're not going to be like, where do you work? And then look at your script to find out what question you need to ask them next. No, you just have a conversation, but you're really interested in them as a person. So you're going to organically come up with questions because you want to know more about them. I would love for you to want to know more about your clients. Ironically, the more you want to know about them, the more information you're going to get from them, and the tighter that connection is going to be between the two of you. Does that make sense? Labeling. So identifying positive and negative emotions with labels. Hi. Sorry. I'll go faster.
Hey, I just want to match
So-
the speed. We're gonna do the same speed. So you got 5 minutes.
Okay. You actually telling me to slow down. So when you see and identify that there's some type of emotion brewing in the person you're talking to, you can label that emotion. And the more you do this, the less that emotion impacts their decision process. Right? Instead of like placating and consoling, right? Oh, that would make me really angry too. And that, like just making them feel better. Like, Adrian, seems like you're really upset about that. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do this with him anymore. So the twist on this is when you see the person starting to go down a bad path, they're angry, they're frustrated.
I want to hear a little more
Yeah, it was
about
like,
how
let's
that
role
works.
play.
So if you say you're angry and I say, yeah, I'm really pissed off, we keep missing out on houses. So what would you say? How do you-
So we're going to get there.
Oh,
I promise. No, we're going to get there. So labeling that negative emotion, that is our knee-jerk reaction. And it's society tells us we need to talk about negative stuff. That's ingrained into our society. You watch the news, everything's negative, right? It's this is bad, that is bad, this is horrible, this person did this. Very seldom do you see positive framework in our general media. So you want to identify the negative emotion to help them kind of label it and be like, okay, right? So Angela, seems like you're pretty angry about not getting your offer accepted.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
Absolutely. Now, what I want to do here is I'm going to help them label and identify a positive emotion by moving forward. Right? So, Danny, I'm with you. You know, putting in offers, not getting them accepted, it's frustrating. Now, one thing I can tell you is we are on the right track because we're getting responses, we're getting feedback, and we're getting closer to getting that acceptance. Now, I'm going to give you an emotion to feel, right? So can you imagine how elated you're going to be when we do get that phone call that says that that offer's been accepted?
That would be incredible. I mean, I can't wait for that. That's what we want.
Perfect. The only way we can get that feeling is if we keep submitting offers. So let's shake this one off and keep it moving. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
I'm going to help you identify, like, this is my negative emotion. And I'm going to acknowledge it. Like, yeah, that's frustrating. But if we get our offer accepted, when we get our offer accepted, can you imagine the joy you're going to feel? Can you imagine when you make that phone call to your mom and let her know that you're going to be a homeowner, how proud you're going to be? And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, well, we're on the same team. And I'm taking you to where you can make that phone call to your mom. So let's shake this one off and let's go find the one that's going to say yes. Right? So labeling and reinforcing the positive emotion is so powerful to get them out of that, like, well, fuck this. Everything's getting, overbid and I'm not getting acceptance. Forget this, right? Label it, get acceptance, acknowledge, shift into reinforcement of a positive emotion for moving forward. It's going to help them get them out of that rut. When you create a label, it seems like, it feels like, or Angela, it sounds like, these are things that I'm telling you, I'm listening. I hear you. And this is the interpretation that I get from your feelings that you're portraying. It gives them an opportunity to elaborate, right? Because every time I did that, it wasn't just, yeah, I'm angry. No, it was, oh, I'm super frustrated. I'm not getting my offers accepted. There's elaboration there, right? So dynamic silence. We just talked about this. It is so important that you allow them to really get what you're saying. And when you say it the right way, you'll see it impact. It is all your self-confidence in the world to not keep talking after you see them get it. Because they'll be like furrowed brow and you'll be like, it seems like you're really frustrated about this. Yeah, this and this and this and this. Well, can you imagine making that phone call to your mom, how proud you're going to feel? And they'll go, right? And all I want to do is help you make that phone call. Fuck up. Let them feel that. Let your words sink in. Let them talk next. It is so powerful, you guys. This is that timing, right? That cadence. Once I've picked up on your baseline communication, now I am going to be in control of next stepping. And having dynamic silence allows them to really kind of marinate in the message that you've given them. And then once they've given you approval, that's when you are in control of taking them to the next step. Now it's all about role play, because practice makes perfect. And you have to screw up an awful lot in order to get real good at this. Okay. But I promise you guys, everybody you talk to in every single conversation you have, this is happening. It already is happening. But now you get to be aware of it. And you get to tinker. And you'll screw up and it's okay. And you'll recognize when you do. Because the person's either going to just stop the conversation and walk away just because it's not vibing, right? Or you'll talk over each other. And that's where you got to go, nope, I need to take ownership of this. It's my responsibility to get us on the same page so that we can have a true communication. So this is step one. We'll get into embedded commands and some other fun stuff next week. But thanks, guys. Appreciate you.